There is a wood that outlasts concrete. Fence posts buried in 1850 still stand today, solid and sound. Modern pressure-treated lumber rots in 15 years. This wood remains perfect for a century, without chemicals, without treatment, without maintenance. And it fertilizes the soil as it grows. So why don't we use it everywhere? Because for 300 years it built America. Then we erased it. Not because it failed, because it succeeded too well. A material that lasts forever can't be sold every decade. A tree that heals dead soil threatens fertilizer sales. Wood that needs no poison doesn't generate chemical profit. This is the story of Black Locust, the rot-proof timber that helped build an empire and then got quietly pushed to the margins. Black Locust, rot-proof wood. The archive opens in Jamestown, Virginia. The year is 1607, the first permanent English settlement in what becomes the United States. The colonists are racing the winter clock. They throw up crude shelters fast. 4 corner posts sunk into the ground, walls framed between them. And the wood they choose will decide whether those structures survive the year or collapse into rot. A century later, about 100 years after Jamestown's founding, British naturalist Mark Catesby visits the site. What he finds shouldn't be possible. At each corner of those ruined early huts, the original posts are still there, not half-rotten, not punky, not eaten. Catesby describes posts that were still perfectly sound, as if they'd been sunk yesterday. That wood was Black Locust. Timeline: 1607 to the early 1700s. Long before hardware stores, people who lived on this land already knew what locust was. Ethnobotany records and plant guides note indigenous uses for black locust wood, including bows, pegs, and other tools where strength mattered. Because locust doesn't behave like normal wood, it's dense, hard, stubborn. It doesn't just resist rot. Its heartwood is widely rated as very resistant to decay, which is why it historically became a specialty wood for ground contact jobs like posts. And that's the first twist of the story. The miracle isn't a new invention. It was here the whole time. We simply stopped building with it. Now jump forward to the War of 1812. American shipbuilders are facing the British Navy, at the time, the most powerful fleet on Earth. Here's the detail most people never hear. Wooden warships weren't held together by metal the way you imagine. They were held together by thousands of treenails, wooden pegs also called trunnels, that pin massive timbers and planks into one rigid body. The British used oak pegs. American builders used Black Locust. And locust has a nasty advantage. It's hard, and when it gets wet it can swell, tightening joints instead of loosening them. So when cannon fire hit, ships didn't just take damage, they came apart, or they didn't. Popular history accounts argue locust trunnels helped American hulls hold together better under impact than oak-fastened ships. And after the war, the British learned the lesson the hard way. By 1820, the Philadelphia market alone was exporting 50,000 to 100,000 locust nails, those tree nails, to England every year. Let that sink in. The empire that just fought you starts importing your wood to rebuild ships that won't fall apart next time. Archival figure: massive trunnel exports to England. Black Locust isn't strong for a wood, it's strong, period. Measured on the Janka hardness scale, Black Locust comes in around 1700 lbf. White oak is about 1360. Its crushing strength is listed around 10,200 lbff in 2, a reason engineers even bring concrete into the conversation. And the rot resistance isn't magic, it's chemistry. Researchers describe Black Locust as naturally durable because its heartwood is loaded with extractives, bioactive compounds that help defend against decay fungi. So yes, this is wood, but it behaves like a material engineered for survival. Black Locust doesn't just last, it heals. It's a legume tree. That means it can host nitrogen-fixing bacteria in root nodules, often described as rhizobium-type symbioses, turning atmospheric nitrogen into forms plants can use. In a major forestry review, researchers note fixation rates reported as high as up to 75 kN/year, and in some contexts up to 150 kN/year, depending on conditions. And field ecology work shows the soil impact can be dramatic. In one study of a pine oak ecosystem invaded by black locust, A horizon soil nitrogen was reported as 1.3 to 3.2 times higher in locust stands than nearby pine oak stands. So this tree does two things that don't normally come together. It grows durable structural timber, and it functions like a living fertilizer system. Which raises the real question: if it's stronger than oak, lasts longer than treated pine, and improves soil, why is it missing from mainstream American building? The answer begins in 1933. In 1933, Indian chemist Sonti Kamasam develops what becomes one of the most influential wood preservatives ever: chromated copper arsenate, CCA. CCA makes cheap softwoods last longer outdoors by loading them with metals: copper compounds for fungi, arsenic compounds for insects, chromium compounds to fix the treatment into the wood. By the mid-20th century, pressure-treated lumber becomes the default, and that's when the math starts to matter more than the material. Black locust lasts a very long time naturally, which means fewer replacements, fewer repeat sales. Pressure-treated pine is designed to be good enough for a generation, then you buy it again. So even without a conspiracy, the incentive is obvious. Planned replacement beats permanence. Planned replacement beats permanence. By the 1990s and early 2000s, public concern spikes around arsenic exposure from CCA-treated structures. In 2003, the EPA finalized voluntary cancellations, used terminations that effectively ended most residential uses of CCA-treated wood by the end of that year. Risk assessments and public health guidance discussed elevated cancer risks in some child exposure scenarios. Figures like a few additional cancers per 100,000 in certain warm climate assumptions show up in official Q&A documents. The industry shifts to newer preservatives, like ACQ and copper azole, keeping the model alive. Chemically treated softwood as the default outdoor material. The chemicals changed, the business logic didn't, and black locust still didn't come back. Why? Because it has another enemy: industrial standardization. Black locust refuses to grow like plantation pine. It can grow crooked. It can develop internal stresses that make boards move after milling. And in the US, it's attacked by the locust borer, a major quality problem that's noted as less severe in parts of Europe. Sawmills built for straight, predictable softwood don't love locust. Major distributors don't stock what they can't standardize, and then the supply loop becomes self-reinforcing. Lumber yards don't stock it because customers don't ask. Customers don't ask because they've never seen it. Contractors default to what's everywhere. So the wood that once built fences, barns, ships gets replaced by what's easiest to order in bulk. Not better, just easier. In Hungary, the story is different. Black locust was introduced there in the early 1700s. Sources place early introduction around 1710, 1720. And it didn't stay niche. USDA Forest Service reporting notes, black locust represents roughly around 1/5 of Hungary's forested area. Figures like 21.6% have been reported in technical summaries. FAO documents similarly describe it as one of Hungary's most widespread tree species at about 20% of forested land. Hungarian forestry uses it for posts, firewood, timber, and honey production because the system built around it, which proves something uncomfortable. Black locust didn't disappear because it can't scale. It disappeared because the US stopped building a supply chain for it. Even in the US, it's not totally gone. Architects and landscape teams still specify black locust for outdoor applications because it's naturally durable. For example, the Brooklyn Botanic Garden Visitor Center earned major recognition and LEED Gold, and the architects list multiple design awards for the project. A black locust supplier also states black locust decking and millwork were used on that visitor center project, and civil engineering literature documents demonstration uses, like small bridge projects that highlight both the promise and the practical challenges of sourcing and using the wood at scale. So the question isn't, does it work? It's, will we rebuild the system that makes it available? There's one more reason black locust has a complicated reputation. It's tough. It spreads. In some regions it's considered invasive, and even appears on prohibited plant lists, like in Massachusetts. so it's not a plant it and forget it tree. Cornell Extension notes the same thing. Some call it invasive, others see it as useful, if managed deliberately. And that's the real adult version of this story. Black Locust is not a fairy tale material, it's a powerful tool. But powerful tools require skill and systems. Climate instability is accelerating. Drought, flood, heat. The systems feeding billions were built for stability. That stability is ending. Black Locust is built for disturbance. It can grow on degraded ground. It can improve soil. And in the right management system, it can produce long-lasting posts and durable outdoor timber without chemical treatment. Not as a silver bullet, as a leverage point. The knowledge isn't lost. It's waiting in the wood. And you don't need permission to plant a tree. You don't need a big box store to recognize quality. The posts your great-grandfather sunk into the ground are still standing. Quiet proof that permanence was always possible. Stay for the final note. If this vault opened something for you, subscribe to Nature's Lost Vault and hit the bell. Every like and every share preserves what they tried to erase. Because the next vault isn't just about a forgotten material, it's about the systems that decide what survives.